Black screen. The sound of breathing, ragged and wet, fills the darkness. Then light, a narrow beam cutting through dust particles that hang suspended like snow in a photograph. The beam trembles. It finds a face. Captain Miles Brennan is 34 years old. His jaw is locked tight enough to crack teeth. Blood runs from a cut above his left eye, mixing with sweat, dripping from his chin onto the shoulder of the man he is holding. Corporal Ethan Vale, 28, combat medic, currently bleeding through a field dressing that is already soaked black in the dim light. Behind them the sound. Automatic weapons fire. Not close, but not far enough. The distinct crack of Kalashnikov rifles, the kind that spent decades in Soviet armories before finding their way to men who ask no questions about where they came from. The rounds punch into concrete somewhere above their heads. Dust falls like dirty rain. Brennan's voice comes out as a whisper, but it carries the weight of 9 hours trapped in this room. We've been in this room for 9 hours. They know exactly where we are. They're not trying to kill us. They're waiting for someone. In the corner, illuminated by a second flashlight held in shaking hands, sits Private Tyler Nash, 21 years old, Marine Reserve, fresh from infantry school with the ink barely dry on his certification. His hands fumble with a magazine trying to seat it into an M4 carbine. The magazine slips, falls. He catches it before it hits the floor. His right hand is wrapped in a torn piece of undershirt. Blood seeps through the fabric, slow but steady. Tyler's voice cracks when he speaks. "Lieutenant, I think I know why they're waiting." The beam of Brennan's flashlight swings toward him. For a moment, the only sound is Vale's labored breathing and the distant hammer of gunfire that has become the soundtrack of their entombment. Then the screen cuts to black. White letters appear, stark against the void. 22 hours earlier. The desert. Arizona owns 11 million acres of it. Most of that expanse holds nothing but creosote and rattlesnakes, and the bones of things that tried to cross it at the wrong time of year. But tucked into a fold of land 40 miles north of the Mexican border sits 340 acres that the United States government bought in 1987 and spent $20 million turning into something else. The Cactus Flats Urban Warfare Training Site. From above, it looks like a town that lost an argument with a bomb. 47 structures made of reinforced concrete, arranged in blocks and streets that mimic the layout of Fallujah, Ramadi, Mosul. Every city American forces spent the last 30 years learning to fight in, block by block, room by room, body by body. The buildings have no windows, just openings, dark squares that stare out at the desert like the eye sockets of skulls. The facility closed in 2019. Budget cuts, sequestration, the usual political math that decides which tools the military gets to keep and which ones get mothballed. But the buildings remain. Concrete doesn't decay fast in the desert, and there's always someone willing to pay to use them. Today, that someone is the Southwest Border Tactical Training Consortium, a private entity that provides advanced combat courses to law enforcement and military personnel. Legitimate, licensed, approved by 3 different federal agencies that don't talk to each other enough to notice certain patterns. It is 8:43 hours when Captain Miles Brennan steps out of a Suburban and into heat that is already pushing 90 degrees. He is tall, lean in the way that comes from running in boots rather than gyms. His hair is cut high and tight. His eyes are the color of sand after rain. He wears 5.11 tactical pants and a tan polo shirt with the Border Patrol Tactical Unit insignia over the left chest. On his hip, a Glock 19 in a Safar-Rilan holster. On his wrist, a Garmin watch that tracks heart rate and elevation, and a dozen other metrics he stopped paying attention to years ago. Behind him, 3 more vehicles arrive in sequence. From the first emerges Agent Cara Santos, 29, DEA Tactical, former Army Ranger before she traded one uniform for another, dark hair pulled back tight, Oakley sunglasses, a confidence in her movements that suggests she has already walked through every scenario that might unfold today and found herself on the winning side of each one. From the second vehicle, Corporal Ethan Vale, lean and quiet, the kind of medic who carries more ammunition than medical supplies because he learned in Kandahar that you can't treat the wounded if you're dead. He nods at Brennan but doesn't speak, doesn't need to. The third vehicle brings 12 men in mismatched uniforms, Border Patrol agents from 3 different sectors, customs officers, 2 ICE tactical team members, all here for the same 4-day course, advanced close-quarter battle, the kind of training that turns competent shooters into the kind of operators who can clear a building at night with night vision that costs more than most people's cars. And from the last Suburban, stepping carefully onto the gravel like he's testing ice, comes Private Tyler Nash. He is young, not just in years but in the way he holds himself. There's an eagerness there barely contained, a hunger to prove something. He wears Marine Corps PT gear. His boots are new enough to still have tread. Strapped to his chest is a plate carrier that looks too big for his frame, but he'll grow into it, or he won't. The Marine Corps has a way of sorting that out. Brennan watches him for 3 seconds longer than necessary. There's something about the kid, a familiarity he can't place. Then Santos calls his name and the moment passes. The brief is short. Cara Santos handles it. Her voice carries across the gravel lot without strain. 4 days, 16 scenarios, live fire iterations using frangible ammunition in the structures, simunitions for force on force. Today is day 1. We start with basic room clearing and work up to full building assaults by Wednesday. Your instructors are myself, Captain Brennan, and Corporal Vale. Questions? A hand goes up. One of the customs officers, older, 40-something with the soft middle that comes from too many years behind a desk. What about Building 19? Santos pauses, just for a second, but Brennan catches it. Building 19. The officer points. Past the main cluster of structures, separated by 100 yards of empty ground, sits a low concrete building, smaller than the others, only 2 stories, but the walls are thicker, the design different. It doesn't match the urban warfare aesthetic of the rest of the facility. The kill house, the officer says. Heard this place had one of the best shoot houses in the Southwest, that on the schedule. Santos glances at Brennan. He shakes his head once. She turns back. Building 19 isn't part of this contract. It requires special authorization. We'll be using buildings 7 through 12 for CQB drills. The officer shrugs, satisfied enough. The brief continues. But Brennan pulls out his phone, opens the contract documents he downloaded last week, scrolls to the facility map, studies it for 30 seconds, then opens his messages and types a text to the consortium coordinator. Building 19 not on our approved list. Why did briefing materials reference it for Day 2 hostage scenario? He hits send, pockets the phone. The response comes 4 minutes later while Santos is demonstrating proper door-breaching technique to the students. Apologies, administrative error. Building 19 removed from rotation per facility management. Use Building 10 instead for hostage drills. Brennan reads it twice, then deletes the message and doesn't think about it again. Until he does. The morning passes in the rhythm of training. 4-man teams. Move, clear. Move, clear. The students are competent but raw. They bunch up in doorways, silhouette themselves in windows, make the mistakes that get people killed in real buildings where the targets shoot back. By 1100 hours, the temperature has climbed to 103 degrees. Brennan calls for a break, water, shade, 20 minutes. Tyler Nash sits apart from the others, back against the shaded side of Building 7. He has a notebook open on his knee, writing something. Brennan watches him for a moment, then walks over. "You're the Marine Reserve attachment." Tyler looks up, nods, closes the notebook quickly, not quick enough. Brennan sees words, diagrams, notes taken in the careful handwriting of someone who actually listens. "Yes, sir. Private Nash. Volunteer attachment to observe advanced CQB protocols before my unit deploys. You ship out soon." "6 months, sir." Brennan nods, starts to turn away, then stops. "That bracelet, family." Tyler's hand moves instinctively to his left wrist, a simple band of brown leather, old, worn, stamped into the leather are letters, GR 1964, 2021. The kid's face changes, something between pride and pain. "My uncle, sir, Grant Ryker, Marine. He died 3 years ago. This was his." Brennan commits the name to memory without knowing why, nods once, walks away. At 12:15 hours, they rotate to Building 10 for the afternoon session. It's Santos's turn to lead. She runs the students hard, fast entries, multiple rooms, stairs. The building has been set up with training mannequins in various positions, some armed, some not. The students have to make the decision in the fraction of a second between seeing and shooting. Tyler Nash is good, better than good. He moves through the structure like he's done this before. His muzzle discipline is perfect. His transitions smooth. When he reaches the second floor and finds a mannequin holding a hostage, he doesn't hesitate. 2 shots, both head. The mannequin drops. The hostage survives. Santos notices, so does Brennan. "The kid's been training," she says quietly. They're standing in the observation room, watching through one-way glass as the next team enters. "More than boot camp gives you," Brennan agrees. "Think someone's been running him through private courses. Or he's got someone teaching him at home." They watch in silence for another minute. Then Brennan's phone vibrates. He pulls it out, studies the screen. His expression doesn't change, but something in his posture does. "Problem?" Santos asks. "Text from facility management. There's been a schedule change for tomorrow." "What kind of change?" Brennan shows her the screen. The message is short. Day 2 scenario, relocated to Building 19 per updated contract. Hostage rescue drill. 900 start time. Facility director will provide brief on site. Santos reads it, frowns. "I thought Building 19 wasn't authorized." "So did I." "You want to call the coordinator?" Brennan considers, then shakes his head. "It's their facility. If they want to open it up, that's their call. But I want to walk it first, tonight, before we take students in." Santos nods. "I'll come with you." They don't discuss it further. The rest of the afternoon proceeds without incident. By 1700 hours, the students are exhausted, dehydrated, and significantly better at not dying in doorways than they were at breakfast. Brennan dismisses them, tells them to hydrate, rest, be back at 8:45 tomorrow. The Suburbans depart in sequence, trailing dust plumes that hang in the still air long after the vehicles disappear. By 1730, only 3 people remain at Cactus Flats: Brennan, Santos, Vale. The medic is restocking his aid bag from supplies in the back of his vehicle when Brennan approaches. "You carrying tonight?" Vale doesn't look up, always. "Good, we're walking Building 19 before dark. Want you with us." Now Vale looks up. Something wrong? "Don't know yet. Probably nothing. But the facility keeps changing their story about that structure. I want eyes on it before we bring students in tomorrow. Vale zips his bag, stands, nods once. Give me 5 to gear up. The three of them cross the empty ground toward Building 19 as the sun begins its descent toward the distant mountains. Their shadows stretch long behind them. The temperature has dropped to 98 degrees. In 2 hours it will be 70. The desert doesn't transition, it switches. Building 19 sits alone, separated from the main complex by open ground that offers no cover, no concealment, just hardpan and scattered rocks. The structure itself is squat, 2 stories, but the walls are thick, reinforced concrete. The windows aren't open holes like the other buildings. These have frames, covered with steel mesh. The door is steel too, closed. Brennan tries the handle, locked. He pulls a small pry bar from his belt, considers it, then notices something. The lock is new, bright steel, no oxidation, no dust in the mechanism. This was installed recently, he says. Santos runs her hand over the door frame. Within the last 48 hours, you can still smell the cutting oil. Vale has moved to the side, studying the ground. He crouches, points. Tire tracks, 2 vehicles, heavy, stopped here sometime in the last day or 2. Brennan absorbs this information, processing. Then he inserts the pry bar and applies pressure. The lock is good, but the frame is old. Something has to give. It's the frame. The door swings open with a sound like a sigh. Inside is darkness, complete, the kind that exists in structures with no windows and no power. Brennan pulls a streamlight from his belt, clicks it on. The beam cuts through dust particles that swirl in the disturbed air. He steps inside. Santos and Vale follow, their own lights joining his. The first floor is a single large room, empty, concrete floor, concrete walls, nothing remarkable until the lights find the far corner. 4 sets of clothing, military uniforms, not American. The camouflage pattern is wrong, digital flora, Russian, Ratnik pattern, current generation. Santos moves closer, touches one of the uniforms, pulls her hand back. Still damp, someone wore these recently. Brennan's light sweeps the rest of the room, finds stairs leading down, and stairs leading up. Standard kill house layout, Vale observes. Basement level for mechanical, ground floor for scenarios, second floor for observation and control booth. They take the stairs down first. The basement is smaller, just enough room for the building's utilities, but there's something else. In the corner, partially hidden by a support column, sits a laptop, open, screen dark but not off. Brennan approaches it, touches the trackpad. The screen wakes. A timer counting down, 35 hours, 58 minutes, 12 seconds, 11, 10. Next to the laptop, a piece of paper, handwritten. The writing is neat, precise, the kind that comes from someone who learned penmanship in a different era. Grant Ryker trained 847 Marines in this building between 2002 and 2005. Ask him why 96 of them died in Fallujah, November 2004. Santos reads it over his shoulder. She's quiet for 5 seconds. Then, who the hell is Grant Ryker? Brennan doesn't answer immediately. His mind is running through databases, names, faces. The institutional memory of the Border Patrol intersects with military personnel enough that certain names become familiar, but he's drawing blank. Then he remembers, the kid, the bracelet, GR 1964, 2021. Tyler Nash's uncle, he says quietly, Marine, supposedly died in 2021. Supposedly. That's what the kid said. But if this is about him, someone thinks he's still relevant. Vale has moved to the other side of the basement. He's found something else. A metal footlocker, military issue. He opens it. Inside, arranged with deliberate care, are 12 manila folders, each one marked with a name and a date. All the dates are November 2004. All the names are followed by KIA. Killed in action. Santos picks up one folder, opens it. Inside is a casualty report, official, stamped, classified, cause of death listed as IED. Location, Fallujah, Iraq. But someone has written in red ink across the report, betrayed. She opens another folder, same story, different name, same red ink, same word. Brennan is already pulling out his phone, no signal. The concrete is too thick. He moves toward the stairs. Santos follows. Vale stays with the folders, photographing each one with his own phone. They're halfway up the stairs when the lights go out. Not just the flashlights, everything. The laptop screen in the basement goes dark, and somewhere above them on the first floor they hear it. The door, the steel door they came through, moving, closing, the sound of metal on metal, then the definitive click of a lock engaging. They rush up the remaining stairs. Brennan hits the door first, pushes, it doesn't move. He throws his shoulder into it. Nothing. The door is steel. The lock is electronic, and they are inside. Santos tries her phone. No signal, Vale the same. Brennan's light finds the windows, the steel mesh. He moves to the nearest one, examines it. Welded, recently. The welds are still bright. We're contained, Santos says. It's not a question. Brennan doesn't answer, he's listening. Outside in the distance, the sound of vehicles, multiple, approaching. Then light, red, emergency lighting, strips along the ceiling flicker to life, bathing everything in crimson. And from speakers mounted in the corners, a voice. Male, accented, Russian, but the English is perfect. Welcome to the real drill, Captain Brennan. You have 36 hours. Survive and you will understand why. The transmission cuts. Silence. Then Santos, her voice level despite everything. What the hell is this? Before anyone can answer, there's a sound from above. The second floor. Footsteps, not hurried, deliberate, someone walking, then stopping. Brennan draws his Glock. Santos follows. Vale has his Sig Sauer out, held low and ready. They take the stairs to the second floor in tactical formation. Brennan leads. The stairs are narrow, concrete. Their footfalls echo despite their attempts at stealth. The second floor is divided into rooms, observation booths, control stations, all empty now, all dark except for the red emergency lights. Brennan clears each space methodically. Santos covers. Vale watches their six. They find the source of the footsteps in the last room, a figure, standing with its back to them, absolutely still. Brennan's light finds it, a mannequin training dummy, dressed in the same Russian uniform they found downstairs, but there's something in its hands, a radio, old, military surplus, still warm. Pinned to the mannequin's chest is another note. Cole Madsen, Grant Ryker. Same ghost, different name. I've been looking for you for 20 years. Now I've found the bait that will bring you out. Your nephew is here, and in 6 hours my men will arrive. You can save him, or you can let the past stay buried. Your choice, Victor. The name means nothing to any of them, but the implication is clear. Whoever Victor is, he knows Tyler Nash is at Cactus Flats. He knows about Grant Ryker, and he's using this building, this scenario, as a trap. Santos speaks first. We need to get word out, now. Brennan nods. The students are scheduled to arrive at 8:45 tomorrow. That's 15 hours from now. If we can't break out before then, we need to warn them off. How? No cell signal, no landline, and that door isn't moving. Vale has been examining the walls. He finds what he's looking for. A panel. Old. He pries it open with his knife. Inside, bundled wires. The building's original electrical system, installed decades ago when this place was built. He traces one bundle with his finger. There's an auxiliary system. Looks like it runs to a generator outside. If we can access it, might be able to rig a distress signal. Radio frequency, something. How long? Give me 2 hours. Brennan checks his watch. 1847 hours. Do it. Santos, you're with me. We're going to find another way out of here. They work through the night. Vale in the electrical room, stripping wires with his knife. Jury rigging a transmitter from components that shouldn't work together, but might if he's lucky and skilled and desperate enough. Brennan and Santos mapping every inch of the structure, looking for weakness, finding none. The building was designed to contain, to simulate urban warfare in the most realistic way possible, which means it was built to take punishment, explosive breaching, heavy weapons, the kind of abuse that comes from teaching soldiers how to fight in cities. At 2300 hours, Vale gets the transmitter working. Barely. It's broadcasting on an emergency frequency, a repeating SOS with their location. But the range is maybe 5 miles, less if the terrain interferes, and out here in the desert there's nothing but terrain. At 200 hours they hear the vehicles again, closer this time. Brennan kills his light, moves to a window, uses a piece of broken mirror to look outside without exposing his position. 3 trucks, GMC Sierras, modified, roll bars, roof racks with equipment he can't identify from this distance. The trucks stop 200 yards out. Men dismount. He counts 8, all armed, all moving with the discipline of training. They don't approach Building 19. They spread out, taking positions in the other structures, establishing a perimeter, setting up for something. Santos joins him at the window, watches in silence. Then, military contractors. Or something close enough. Why not just kill us now? Because we're not the target, we're the bait. For this Grant Ryker, who apparently isn't as dead as his nephew thinks. They watch for another 10 minutes, then the men are in position and everything goes still, waiting. At 600 hours, as the sun begins to paint the eastern sky in shades of copper and gold, they hear it. A different vehicle, smaller, older, the distinct rattle of a diesel engine that has seen better decades. It stops outside the perimeter, out of sight. The engine cuts. Silence for 5 minutes, then movement, a figure approaching from the north, low, using the terrain, moving with the kind of patience that suggests this person has done this before and survived. Brennan watches through the mirror, can't see details, just a shape, moving toward Building 7, then disappearing into it. Someone's here, he says quietly. One of them. Don't know, movement's wrong, too cautious. They're already in position, this is someone new. They wait 20 minutes, 30. Then at 6:47 Brennan's radio crackles, not the one he brought with him, a different frequency, emergency channel, Vale's jury-rigged transmitter. A voice, male, older, rough with disuse but carrying authority that has nothing to do with rank. Captain Miles Brennan, Border Patrol Tactical Unit. This is Grant Ryker, I'm outside. I got your distress signal, but before I do anything stupid I need to know one thing. Is Tyler Nash with you? Brennan and Santos exchange looks. Santos nods. Brennan keys the radio. Negative. Nash is with the student group. They're not due until 8:45, but whoever set this trap knows he's coming. There's a pause, 5 seconds, then. How many hostiles? 8 confirmed, armed, positioned in buildings 4, 7, and 11, military training, unknown nationality. Another pause. Longer this time. Then the voice comes back, and there's something different in it now. Something that might be resignation or might be rage compressed into something colder. Captain, I need you to listen carefully. I built this facility, every structure, every sight line, every kill zone. I trained 1,100 Marines here over 4 years. I know things about this place that aren't in any manual. And I know that if Tyler is coming, it's because someone made sure he would be. Which means this isn't about trapping me. It's about using you to make me make a choice I'll regret either way. Who are you really? Someone who was supposed to stay dead, but I'm done with that. You keep your people alive for the next 2 hours. I'll handle the rest. Handle how? But the transmission has already ended. Static, then nothing. Santos looks at Brennan. You believe him. Don't have much choice. At 8:45 hours, exactly on schedule, they hear the Suburbans arriving. 4 vehicles, the students, right on time, right into whatever this has become. Brennan watches through the mirror. The Suburbans stop in the main lot, doors open. The students emerge, stretching, talking, unaware. And from Building 7, one of the armed men moves, heading toward them. Brennan keys the radio, broadcasts on the emergency channel. All units, this is Brennan. Do not approach Building 19. Repeat, do not approach. This is an active hostile situation. Secure perimeter and await further instructions. But the students don't have radios. The transmission goes nowhere. The armed man is 50 yards from the Suburbans now, 40, 30. Then the shot. Single suppressed. A whisper of sound that nevertheless carries across the desert morning. The armed man drops, not dead. The shot took him in the leg, precision, disabling but not fatal. The students scatter, training takes over. They move to cover, drawing weapons, establishing fields of fire without knowing where the threat is coming from. The remaining 7 armed men respond, converging toward the Suburbans, but they're moving into open ground, exposing themselves. And from somewhere in the complex, another shot, then another, not aiming to kill, aiming to confuse, to scatter, to deny them the ability to organize. It's happening too fast for Brennan to track, but he recognizes what he's seeing: asymmetric warfare, one shooter, multiple targets, using superior knowledge of terrain and position to create an effect far beyond his actual capability. Whoever Grant Ryker is, he's doing exactly what he said, handling it. But then everything changes. One of the students breaks from cover, running not toward the Suburbans but toward Building 19. It's Tyler Nash. The kid has seen the locked door, has seen Brennan's vehicle still in the lot, has put together enough pieces to know his instructors are trapped inside. And he's running toward them, across open ground, in full view of 7 armed men who are now reforming, reorienting, bringing weapons to bear. Brennan sees it happening, can't stop it, yells into the radio even though the kid can't hear. Nash, stay down, get to cover. But Tyler keeps running, 20 yards from Building 19, 15, 10. The shot comes from Building 11, an AK pattern rifle. Brennan knows the sound. The round catches Tyler in the right shoulder, spins him, drops him. He goes down hard on the concrete, doesn't move. And inside Building 19, in the red emergency light, Brennan feels something shift. The equations have changed. The trap has sprung. And whatever happens next, there's no walking it back. Santos is already moving. Not toward the door, they can't get through the door, but toward the basement, toward the laptop, the timer. It's still counting, but the numbers have changed. No longer 30+ hours, now it reads 00, 11:47. 11 minutes, 47 seconds. Brennan follows her down the stairs. What happens at 0? Santos doesn't answer. She's examining the laptop, looking for connections, wires, something. She finds it, a cable, leading from the laptop into the wall. She follows it, pulls a panel free. Behind it, mounted to the concrete, is a device. Military demolition charge, M112C4, enough to bring down a significant portion of the structure, and it's wired to the timer. Vale joins them, looks at the device, looks at Santos. His voice is steady, calm, the voice of someone who has defused bombs in places where being nervous gets you and everyone around you killed. I can disarm it, but I need time. The timer reads 00:10:21. Brennan makes the decision. Do it. Santos with me. We're finding another way out before that thing hits 0. They leave Vale in the basement, working, calm, methodical, and they return to the first floor, to the windows, to the steel mesh. Brennan pulls a small breaching charge from his vest, shaped, designed for locks and hinges, not walls, but maybe. He places it against the mesh at one corner, sets the timer. They move to the opposite side of the room, cover their ears. The charge detonates, smoke, debris. When it clears, the mesh is bent, damaged but not breached. Brennan checks his watch, 8 minutes left. Outside, the shooting has stopped. An eerie silence has fallen. The students have taken defensive positions. The armed men have pulled back, regrouping. And somewhere out there, Grant Ryker is moving, repositioning, planning his next move. Tyler Nash still lies motionless on the concrete, 20 feet from Building 19. So close. But in this situation, 20 feet might as well be 20 miles. 7 minutes. Santos is trying the door again, examining the lock mechanism. It's electronic, requires a code or a key card or both. She has neither, but she has a Glock in desperation. She fires 3 rounds point blank into the locking mechanism. The bullets ricochet. The lock holds. 6 minutes. Brennan's radio crackles. Grant Ryker's voice, tense now. The calm authority replaced by something urgent. Captain, I can see the kid from here. He's alive but unconscious. I can get to him, but I need you to do something first. In 90 seconds, I'm going to create a distraction. When I do, every hostile in this complex is going to focus on Building 7. That's your window. Use another breaching charge on the door. Aim for the hinges. The lock will hold, but the hinges are just steel. They'll give. We're on a timer here, Ryker. 5 minutes and this building turns into rubble. There's a pause, then Ryker's voice again, different now, understanding something. They put a demolition charge in there. Affirmative. Where? Basement. My medic is trying to disarm it. Another pause, longer then. Tell him to stop. He can't disarm it. That charge is linked to a dead man's switch. Someone's holding a trigger. He tries to cut the wrong wire, it blows immediately. Your only option is to get out. Now. Brennan absorbs this, makes a decision. Santos, get Vale, we're leaving now. She's already moving down the stairs. Brennan hears her voice, urgent, then Vale's protests, then footsteps, they're coming up. 4 minutes. Brennan places his last breaching charge on the door hinges, sets it for 20 seconds. They stack up, ready. Outside, Building 7 erupts. Not an explosion, fire, thick black smoke, a deliberate burn. Every hostile in the complex turns toward it, weapons raised. The breaching charge detonates, the door shudders, the hinges crack, but they don't fail. 3 minutes. Brennan doesn't hesitate. He and Santos hit the door together, full body weight. The damaged hinges scream. Bend, give. The door falls outward. They're through. 2 minutes 30 seconds. Brennan runs toward Tyler. Santos covers him. Vale is behind them. The hostiles are still focused on Building 7, still trying to understand what's happening. Brennan reaches Tyler, grabs him. Fireman's carry. The kid groans, alive. Barely. Brennan turns, runs, away from Building 19, away from the device counting down in its basement. 1 minute. They're 40 yards out when the shooting starts. The hostiles have realized, turned, engaging. Rounds crack past Brennan's head. Santos returns fire, controlled bursts, keeping their heads down. Vale is dragging one of the students who froze, getting him to cover. 30 seconds. Brennan clears 70 yards, drops behind a concrete barrier, lays Tyler down. The kid's eyes flutter, open, confused. Uncle Grant, he's here. Brennan doesn't have time to process that. He covers Tyler with his own body. 10 seconds. And then Grant Ryker appears, emerging from the smoke of Building 7. He's 62 years old, lean, hard, moving like someone 30 years younger. In his hands, an M40 sniper rifle, the kind Marines used for 40 years because it worked. He sees Tyler, sees Brennan covering him. Their eyes meet across 30 yards. 5 seconds. Ryker nods once, then turns, brings the rifle up, aims not at the hostiles but at something beyond them, squeezes the trigger. The shot is perfect. It takes out a man standing on the roof of Building 4, a man Brennan hadn't seen, a man holding something that looks like a radio detonator. The man falls. The detonator falls with him. 0. But Building 19 doesn't explode. The timer hit 0. The charge should have detonated, but it didn't. Because Grant Ryker just killed the man holding the dead man's switch. And when that man died, his thumb released, and the circuit broke, and the charge failed safe. In the sudden silence that follows, Brennan understands. The whole scenario, the trap, the timer, it was never about killing them. It was about forcing Ryker to reveal himself, to act, to choose between staying hidden and saving his nephew. And Ryker chose, made the choice Victor knew he would make, and now everything that comes next is inevitable. From the desert beyond the complex, more vehicles, but these are different, official, border patrol, local sheriff. Someone got word out, someone called for help. The hostiles break, scatter, disappearing into the buildings, into the desert. They're not here to fight authorities. They accomplished their mission. They forced Grant Ryker out of hiding. Medics arrive. Real ones. They take Tyler, stabilize him, he'll live. The shoulder wound is clean, lucky. Brennan stands, looks around. Grant Ryker is gone, vanished back into whatever shadows he emerged from. But before he left, he placed something on the hood of one of the Suburbans. Brennan walks to it, picks it up. A flash drive, and a note, written in the same neat handwriting from the basement. Captain Brennan, what happened today was inevitable. I've been dead for 3 years because staying dead kept my nephew safe. Now someone knows I'm alive. Someone who killed 96 Marines in Fallujah in 2004. Someone who will come for Tyler to get to me. The flash drive contains everything I know, everything I've spent 3 years gathering. You seem like a man who finishes what he starts. If you are, you'll need this. And you'll need me. I'll contact you when it's time. Until then, keep the kid breathing. Grant Ryker. Brennan stands in the Arizona sun holding a message from a ghost and watching EMTs load his student into an ambulance. Behind him, Building 19 sits silent, empty. The device in its basement disarmed now by professionals who arrived too late to matter. And somewhere in the desert, Grant Ryker is already moving, already planning, already 3 steps ahead of everyone except the man who set this trap. A man named Victor, a man with resources and knowledge and a patience that spans decades. This isn't over, it's just beginning. But Brennan doesn't know the half of it yet. Doesn't know about Viktor Volkov. Doesn't know about Major General Marcus Webb. Doesn't know that Building 19 holds secrets in its basement beyond the demolition charge. Evidence hidden 20 years ago by men who died protecting it. He will learn, soon, because when he inserts that flash drive into his computer tonight, he'll see files, photographs, classified operation orders, names of the dead, and in the center of it all, a question that has haunted Grant Ryker for 2 decades. Who betrayed Battalion 18 in Fallujah? And why are they still trying to bury the truth? The sun climbs higher, the temperature rises. The desert doesn't care about the small dramas of men. It has seen civilizations rise and fall. It will see more. But for now, in this moment, 3 people know that something has shifted. Captain Miles Brennan, Agent Cara Santos, Corporal Ethan Vale. They've been pulled into something larger than a training exercise gone wrong. Something that reaches back to a war that ended years ago but never really stopped killing people. And somewhere out there, Grant Ryker is watching, waiting, preparing for the moment when he stops running and starts hunting. That moment is coming. Sooner than anyone thinks. The hospital room smells like disinfectant and failure. Captain Miles Brennan sits in a plastic chair that was designed by someone who has never actually sat for more than 5 minutes. His back aches. His eyes burn from 18 hours without sleep. But he doesn't move, doesn't leave. Because across from him, in a bed with rails that suggest the occupant might try to escape, Tyler Nash is finally waking up. The kid's eyes open slowly, confused, searching. They find the IV line in his left arm first, then the bandages wrapped around his right shoulder, then Brennan. "Captain," the voice is rough, dry. Brennan reaches for the water cup on the bedside table, offers it. Tyler drinks, winces. The shoulder hurts, will hurt for weeks. "Easy, you took a round. Clean through. No permanent damage if you do the physical therapy they're going to prescribe and actually take the antibiotics." Tyler nods, processing. Then the memory returns, his face changes. The others, Agent Santos, Corporal Vale, the students. Everyone's fine, shaken up. 2 minor injuries from diving for cover, but alive. "You ran into gunfire, Nash, directly toward it. Want to tell me why?" The kid looks away, stares at the ceiling tiles. Someone has counted them before, probably many people. There are 147 visible from this angle. "I saw your vehicle, knew you were inside, figured you needed help." That's the action. I asked for the why. Tyler's hand moves to his wrist, looking for the leather bracelet. It's not there. On the bedside table instead, placed carefully. Brennan picks it up, hands it to him. Tyler holds it like a prayer. "My Uncle Grant, the one I told you about. He trained at Cactus Flats, years ago. When I got the assignment, I looked him up in the old facility logs, found his signature in the instructor notebook. Thought maybe being there would help me understand him, understand why he never came home." Brennan lets the silence stretch, gives the kid space. Then, "Tyler, your Uncle Grant isn't dead." The words land like a physical blow. Tyler's eyes snap to Brennan's face, searching for the lie, finding none. "That's not possible. My mom said, the funeral, the flag." "I don't know about any of that. But the man who saved your life yesterday was Grant Ryker. He told me himself. And before he disappeared, he left me this." Brennan produces the flash drive. Small, unremarkable, containing secrets that men have killed to protect. Tyler stares at it. His breathing has changed. Faster, shallow. The heart rate monitor beside the bed registers the spike. A nurse glances in. Brennan waves her off. "He's alive, he's been alive, and he let us think. Let me think." Tyler's voice breaks, not with grief, with something harder to name. Betrayal mixed with hope mixed with confusion. There's more, things on this drive, things about Fallujah, about what happened to his unit in 2004. I haven't looked at it all yet, but I think your uncle has been hunting something, or someone, for a very long time. Then why didn't he come see me? Why didn't he? The door opens. Agent Cara Santos enters. She looks like she's slept even less than Brennan. Her clothes are the same ones from yesterday, dust still on the knees from diving behind concrete barriers. "Captain, we have a problem. The Border Patrol investigators just left. They're calling yesterday a training accident. Malfunctioning pyrotechnics. The armed men we engaged, they're saying we imagined them. Stress-induced hallucination." Brennan stands. "That's insane. We have 8 witnesses, bullet casings, damage to 3 buildings. And no bodies, no detained suspects. The men scattered before the cavalry arrived. And someone very official is telling the investigators that nothing happened except a smoke grenade malfunction and some jumpy contractors who overreacted." "Someone official." Santos hands him a tablet. On screen, an email. Department of Defense letterhead. Signed by someone with enough stars on their collar that questioning them is a career-ending move. The email is brief, professional, absolute. It states that the incident at Cactus Flats has been reviewed by appropriate authorities. No evidence of hostile action. Facility will remain closed pending safety review. All personnel involved are directed to consider the matter resolved and return to normal duties. Brennan reads it twice, then looks at Santos. "This is a burial. Complete. They're even offering compensation. Hazard pay for the quote-unquote stress we endured. Enough money that most people would take it and stop asking questions." "Most people. We're not most people." Brennan looks back at Tyler. The kid is sitting up now, listening. His face has gone hard. The softness of youth replaced by something that understands betrayal in a way that only comes from experience. "Captain Brennan, that flash drive, whatever's on it, I want to see it. I have a right." Brennan considers, then nods. "When you're discharged, come find me, but Tyler, once you look at this, once you know, there's no unknowing. Your uncle stayed dead for a reason. Opening this box might be the thing that gets all of us killed for real. Then we better make sure we're worth killing." The kid is 21 years old, but the eyes looking back at Brennan have aged a decade in the last 24 hours. They gather that night in Brennan's apartment. Small, Spartan, the kind of place a man lives when he's married to the job and the job doesn't care about square footage. Brennan, Santos, Vale, and Tyler Nash discharged against medical advice because Marines are exceptionally good at ignoring doctors. The flash drive sits on the coffee table between them like an unexploded device, which, in a way, it is. Brennan picks it up, inserts it into his laptop. The screen flickers. Files appear, hundreds of them, organized with military precision into folders labeled by date and operation. He opens the first folder, November 2004, Fallujah. Inside are scanned documents, official operation orders, maps, patrol routes, radio frequencies, everything a military unit would need to conduct urban combat operations in a hostile city. But across many of the documents, someone has written in red digital ink, notes, observations, questions. Santos reads one aloud. "Route Bravo compromised before patrol departed. Insurgents positioned exactly where our dismount point was planned. 12 casualties. Someone told them." She opens another file. Another patrol, different route. Same story, ambush, casualties, perfect enemy positioning. Vale has moved to a different folder. His face has gone pale. He turns the laptop so the others can see. On screen, a photograph, black and white, grainy, taken from distance with a long lens. It shows two men standing beside a vehicle. One is in Marine combat uniform, the other in civilian clothes. The Marine's face is circled in red. Beneath it, a typed caption. Major Marcus Webb, Battalion Executive Officer, photographed meeting with unknown individual in neutral zone, 3 hours before Route Charlie ambush, 17 dead. Brennan zooms in on the civilian, middle-aged, sunglasses, nondescript, could be anyone, but Grant Ryker thought this meeting mattered enough to document it, to keep it hidden for 20 years. Who is Marcus Webb now? Santos asks. Brennan already knows, has known since he read the email earlier, the signature, the stars. Major General Marcus Webb, Deputy Commander, Special Operations Command, third highest ranking officer in SOCOM, and the man who just officially declared yesterday's incident a training accident. The room goes quiet. The kind of quiet that comes when people realize they're looking at something that could destroy them just for knowing it exists. Tyler breaks the silence. My uncle, he found this. This is why he died, why he pretended to die. Brennan clicks through more files. There are dozens, patrol after patrol, ambush after ambush. 96 Marines dead over the course of 3 weeks in November 2004. And woven through all of it, the presence of Marcus Webb, always in the right place to know which routes were planned, which buildings were being cleared, which intersections would be crossed at what time. Vale speaks up. His voice is steady, clinical, the way he sounds when he's telling someone their wound is worse than they think. This is evidence of systematic betrayal. Someone in command was feeding intelligence to the insurgents, getting our people killed. For what? Money? Ideology? What possible reason? Santos has opened a different folder. Her face has changed. I think I found the reason. On screen, a scanned page from what looks like a financial ledger. Handwritten, Arabic numerals mixed with English. Lists of transactions, amounts, dates, and at the bottom of one page in English a single line. Payment received for operational intelligence. Route information, patrol schedules, delivered as agreed. Next installment due upon confirmation of effect. Beneath that, a signature, not Marcus Webb, someone else. But there's an annotation in Grant Ryker's handwriting. Traced to shell company registered in Dubai. Ownership hidden. But transaction authorization required U.S. military clearance. Only 3 officers in theater had that clearance in Nov 2004. Webb was one. He was selling them our Marines, Tyler says. His voice is empty, hollow, for money. He was selling them. Brennan closes the laptop. Has to. Needs a minute to process what they're looking at. This isn't just evidence of a crime. It's evidence of a betrayal so profound that revealing it would shake the entire military command structure, would destroy faith, would raise questions about every operation, every casualty. And Marcus Webb is now in a position to ensure none of this ever sees light. We need to go to someone, Santos says. Inspector General, FBI, someone outside the chain of command. With what proof? Brennan counters. Digital files that could be fabricated, photographs that could be doctored. We have no chain of custody, no witnesses. Grant Ryker is officially dead. And the one man who could testify is a ghost who won't come forward because doing so would paint a target on everyone he cares about. So we do nothing. Let 96 families never know the truth. I didn't say that. Brennan stands, walks to the window. Outside, Yuma spreads out in the darkness. Lights scattered across the desert like stars that fell and gave up trying to return to the sky. He's thinking, processing, building a plan from pieces that don't quite fit yet. Grant Ryker has been gathering this evidence for 20 years. He's not doing it for revenge or justice. Those words don't mean anything to a man who's already dead. He's doing it because he wants his nephew to know the truth, to understand why 96 Marines died, and why one of them was his son. Tyler's head snaps up. What? Brennan turns from the window, faces the kid. There's another folder on that drive. I saw it when the files loaded. It's labeled Marcus Ryker. KIA Afghanistan 2021. Want to guess whose son that was? Tyler's face goes through several emotions in quick succession. Confusion, denial, understanding, grief. I had a cousin I never knew. My mom never said. Because Grant Ryker left after his son's mother died. Couldn't handle being a parent alone. Your mom tried to help. He pushed everyone away, including his own son, who grew up, joined the Marines like his father, deployed, and according to the official record, died in combat. But I'm willing to bet if we look at that folder, we'll find a different story. Santos has already opened it. On screen, a military casualty report, official, stamped, classified. Corporal Marcus Ryker, United States Marine Corps, killed in action, Helmand Province, Afghanistan, May 17, 2021. Cause of death, IED. But beneath the official report is another document, this one not official, a letter, handwritten, from Marcus to his father, never sent, found among his personal effects. Dad, I know you won't read this. You haven't answered my letters in 6 years, but I need you to know I found something. Evidence that the Fallujah ambushes weren't tactical failures. They were deliberate. Someone in command sold us out. I'm close to proving it. If something happens to me, you need to finish this. The names are in the lockbox. The same lockbox where Mom kept her wedding ring. You know which one I mean. Don't let them bury this. Don't let those 96 Marines die for nothing. Your son, Marcus. The room is silent. The kind of silence that exists in the space between heartbeats, between breaths. The silence that comes when people realize they're holding pieces of a story that changes everything. Tyler is crying, quietly. No sound, just tears tracking down his face in the dim light. Brennan wants to say something, offer comfort, but there are no words for this. For learning you had family you never knew, who died trying to expose a truth that killed him. Vale closes the laptop, gently like it's fragile. So what do we do? Before anyone can answer, Brennan's phone rings. Unknown number. He almost doesn't answer, then does. Brennan. The voice on the other end is the same one from the radio yesterday, Grant Ryker, but there's something different now, an urgency. Captain, we need to meet. Tonight, there's something happening, something I didn't plan for. Viktor Volkov, the man who set up yesterday, he just made contact. He wants to talk, and he says he'll only do it if you're there. Why me? Because you have Tyler, and Viktor knows that anyone who wants to keep that kid alive will listen to what he has to say. Meet me at the old maintenance shed on the east side of Cactus Flats. 1 hour. Come alone, or bring your team, your call, but come armed. Viktor is many things, trustworthy isn't one of them. The line goes dead. Brennan looks at the others, they heard. The phone was on speaker. Santos speaks first, it's a trap. Probably. So we don't go. We have to go. Because if Grant Ryker thinks it's important enough to risk showing himself, then it's our only move. Tyler stands, favoring his wounded shoulder but standing. I'm coming. No, you're injured. You're a liability. He's my uncle. My cousin died for this. I'm coming. Brennan looks at the kid, sees something he recognizes. The same thing he saw in the mirror 15 years ago when he was young and stupid and thought every fight was his to finish. That look gets people killed, but it also wins wars. Fine, but you do exactly what I say when I say, no heroics, no improvisation, clear. Clear. They gear up, not official equipment. This isn't official business. Personal weapons, body armor, comms. The kind of loadout people use when they're operating in the space between legal and necessary. The drive to Cactus Flats takes 40 minutes. No lights, no sirens, just 4 people in an unmarked vehicle heading into the desert to meet a ghost and the man who tried to kill them yesterday. The maintenance shed sits at the edge of the facility, abandoned, rusted, the kind of building that gets ignored until it falls down. They approach on foot, night vision, weapons ready. Brennan takes point, Santos on his 6, Vale and Tyler covering the flanks. The shed door is open. Inside, darkness. Brennan's NVGs paint everything in shades of green, empty, except for a figure standing in the center, hands visible, no weapon drawn. Grant Ryker. He's exactly as Brennan imagined. 62 but looking 50. Lean, hard, eyes that have seen things and decided not to flinch. He wears jeans, a canvas jacket, boots that have walked through deserts and jungles and mountains. On his hip, a 1911 pistol, the same one he probably carried as a Marine 30 years ago. Captain Brennan, thank you for coming. Where's Volkov? Outside, waiting. He has 8 men positioned in the perimeter. I have 2. We're outnumbered but not outmatched. He knows if this goes wrong, he dies first. That's the only reason this is happening. Tyler steps forward. Into the light of Ryker's flashlight, the old Marine goes still, absolutely motionless, like he's seen a ghost. Tyler. Uncle Grant. The moment stretches. 2 men separated by blood and time and secrets looking at each other across 10 feet that might as well be a canyon. Then Ryker's face does something Brennan didn't think possible. It breaks, just for a second, all the armor, all the control, gone, replaced by naked grief. You look like your mother, same eyes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I never came back. Why didn't you? Because I was broken, your cousin Marcus, my son, I failed him, failed everyone. And I didn't know how to be around family after that. Didn't know how to be anything except angry, so I became a ghost, and ghosts don't get to have family. Tyler crosses the distance, wraps his good arm around his uncle. Ryker stiffens, then slowly, carefully returns the embrace. 2 Marines, 2 generations, both carrying wounds that never healed right. Brennan looks away, gives them privacy. Santos does the same. Vale keeps watch on the door. After 30 seconds, they separate. Ryker wipes his face, clears his throat, returns to business because business is safer than emotion. Victor is here to make an offer. I need you to hear it. Then I need you to help me decide if he's lying. What kind of offer? Before Ryker can answer, a new voice comes from the doorway, accented, Russian, but the English is perfect, educated. The kind that keeps everyone in this room alive, if you're smart enough to take it. Viktor Volkov steps into the shed. He's shorter than Brennan expected, 48 years old, compact, moving with the economy of motion that comes from Spetsnaz training. He wears civilian clothes, dark jacket, boots. His hands are empty, but Brennan counts 3 places he could be carrying concealed weapons. Behind him, no one. He came alone, either supremely confident or playing a game Brennan doesn't understand yet. Captain Brennan, Agent Santos, Corporal Vale, and young Tyler Nash, the nephew, you all survived yesterday. Congratulations, that was not the plan. What was the plan? Brennan asks. His hand is near his Glock, not threatening, just ready. To force Grant Ryker to reveal himself, which worked, but also to demonstrate to my employer that I am still effective, still useful, still worth keeping alive. You see, I have a problem. My employer is Major General Marcus Webb, and he has something that belongs to me. My daughter, taken 11 years ago, held as insurance that I will do what he requires, when he requires it. The words land like artillery. Brennan glances at Ryker. The old Marine's face is unreadable, but his eyes are calculating, processing, building a tactical picture. You're saying Webb has been holding your daughter hostage for over a decade, to control you, to use you as his weapon. Yes, I am Spetsnaz, or was, before the Soviet Union fell and men like me had to find new employers. Webb recruited me in 2006, said he needed someone for wet work, deniable operations. I did many things I'm not proud of, but I did them because every 3 months I received proof of life, a photograph, a video, showing my Anya, alive, growing up, and being told that if I ever disobeyed, she would disappear. Santos speaks. Her voice is hard, skeptical. And we're supposed to believe this, supposed to feel sympathy for a man who tried to kill us yesterday. No, I don't ask for sympathy, I ask for understanding. You have families, people you would kill for, die for. I am no different, except my daughter is the leverage that turned me into a monster. Brennan studies Victor's face, looking for the lie, finding something more complicated. Pain, real, deep. The kind that comes from living with impossible choices for so long that morality becomes a luxury you can't afford. What's the offer? Victor reaches into his jacket, slowly pulls out a photograph, slides it across to Brennan. It shows a girl, teenager, dark hair, Slavic features, standing in front of a nondescript building. The photo is recent, this year. This is Anya, 15 years old, held at a private facility in Nevada. I know where, I know the security, I know how many guards. I've been planning her extraction for 3 years, but I can't do it alone. Webb has too many resources, too many eyes. If I move against him, he'll know. He'll move her, or worse. So you want our help? No, I want Grant Ryker's help. He's the only man I know who has successfully disappeared from Webb's radar for 3 years, who has survived this long while being hunted. But I know Ryker won't help me unless you vouch for me, unless you believe I'm telling the truth. Ryker finally speaks. His voice is measured, calm. Victor, you killed 96 Marines. You were Webb's weapon in Fallujah. You fed him intelligence to sell to the insurgents. You're asking me to save your daughter after you helped murder my son. Victor doesn't deny it, doesn't look away. Yes, everything you say is true, but I didn't know Marcus was your son until after he died. Didn't know he was investigating Webb. If I had known, if I could have warned him. Victor stops, breathes, continues. I can't undo the past, can't bring back the dead, but I can give you something. The complete record of every operation Webb ran through me. Every death, every betrayal, everything you need to destroy him, in exchange for helping me get Anya back. The offer hangs in the air, poisonous, tempting. Brennan does the math. If Victor is telling the truth, they get evidence that could actually stick. That could bring down Webb. That could give 96 families closure. But if he's lying, they walk into a trap, get killed, and Webb wins completely. Why now? Santos asks. Why reach out now after 11 years? Victor's face changes. Something cracks in his armor. Because 3 weeks ago I received a different kind of message from Webb, a video showing Anya and a man I don't recognize, telling her that in 6 months when she turns 16 she'll be given a choice, work for Webb like her father or disappear. Webb is planning to use her, turn her into what he turned me into, and I will burn the world down before I let that happen. Tyler speaks. his voice quiet but carrying. How do we know she's really your daughter, that this isn't just a story? Victor reaches for his jacket again. This time pulls out a worn leather wallet, opens it. Inside a photo, old, faded, it shows a young Victor, 20-something, holding a baby. Behind him, a woman, beautiful, smiling. The kind of photo that captures a moment before everything goes wrong. Her name was Katia, my wife. She died in childbirth with our second child. The baby died too. I had nothing left except Anya. And when Webb found me in 2013, desperate and broke, he saw that, saw the weakness, and exploited it. Brennan takes the wallet, studies the photo. It's real. No question. The pain in Victor's younger face. The hope, the love, you can't fake that. He hands it back. Grant, this is your call. He betrayed your Marines, helped kill your son, but if what he's saying is true. Ryker has been silent, watching Victor, reading him the way snipers read terrain, looking for the hidden, the dangerous, the deceptive. Finally, he speaks. Victor, you and I worked together in Afghanistan. 2011, Operation Mongoose. You saved my life. Took a bullet meant for me. I never forgot that. Never forgot that underneath the weapon there was a man. So I'm going to ask you one question, and if you lie, I'll know. And this conversation ends with you dead on this floor. Understood? Understood. Is Anya still alive? The question is simple. The implications devastating, because if she's not, if Webb already killed her, then everything Victor just said is a lie, a manipulation, a trap. Victor meets Ryker's eyes, doesn't blink. I don't know, the last proof of life I received was 14 days ago. A video, 30 seconds, showing her reading today's newspaper, but Webb has gone dark since yesterday, since Cactus Flats. I think he knows I'm compromised, knows I failed to kill you, and I think he's making preparations, either to move her or... He doesn't finish, doesn't need to. Ryker nods slowly, processing, then. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to verify your story. Captain Brennan has resources, connections. We're going to find out if there's a facility in Nevada holding a 15-year-old girl, if there is. If she matches Anya's description. Then we talk about a deal, but Victor, if you're lying, if this is Webb's play, then you better pray he kills you before I do, because what I'll do will make you beg for death. The threat is delivered without heat, without anger, just cold statement of fact, and somehow that makes it more terrifying. Victor nods. I accept those terms. Brennan pulls out his phone, types a message to a contact he hasn't used in 3 years, someone who owes him a favor, someone with access to databases that don't officially exist. The message is brief. Need location verification. Private detention facility. Nevada, holding female juvenile, approximately 15 years old. Possible foreign national. Need answer in 24 hours. He hits send, then looks at Victor. You have a day. After that, we make a decision. Until then, you're going to tell us everything. Every operation, every body, every piece of evidence you have on Webb. And if any of it is fabricated, if any of it is designed to lead us into a trap, that's when Grant gets his turn. Victor nods. I'll need a secure location, somewhere Webb's people can't track. Ryker speaks up. I have a place, off-grid, 40 miles north, old hunting cabin, no power, no phone, no way to call for help if you try something stupid. Then let's go. They move. 5 people who 3 hours ago were enemies, now forced into an alliance built on desperation and impossible choices. Brennan knows this is insane, knows every protocol says to walk away, call the authorities, let the system handle it. But the system is run by Marcus Webb, and the system buried yesterday. The system will bury this too. Sometimes the only way to fight the system is to become something the system can't predict, can't control, can't bury. They drive in separate vehicles, Ryker leading, Victor with him, Brennan, Santos, Vale, and Tyler following at a distance, ready to respond if this is the trap they all suspect it might be. The cabin is exactly as described, remote, decrepit, the kind of place people go to disappear. Inside, a single room, wood stove, cots, no electricity. Ryker lights an oil lamp. The flame casts shadows that dance on walls covered with maps, photos, evidence. This is where he's been living, where he's been building his case against Webb for 3 years. Victor sees the maps, recognizes some of the locations, ambush sites, meeting points, places where money changed hands and Marines died. You've been busy. 20 years is a long time to hunt. You learn patience. Victor moves to one of the maps, points to a location in Fallujah, Route Charlie. November 9, 2004. I was there, on this rooftop. Webb gave me the patrol route 3 hours before. I positioned shooters, waited. 17 Marines died in 6 minutes. One of them was Marcus. The words hit Tyler like a fist. He lunges. Santos catches him, holds him back. Tyler is strong, but Santos is stronger. And more importantly, she understands rage. Knows that letting it control you gets you killed. Easy, Nash, easy. This is what Webb wants, us fighting each other while he stays safe. Tyler stops struggling, but his eyes promise violence later. Victor sees it, accepts it. I deserve your hate, deserve worse. But hating me doesn't bring them back, destroying Webb does, so choose, revenge on me or justice for them. Brennan steps between them, creating space, distance. Victor, you said you have records, proof, show us. Victor reaches into his jacket again. This time produces a small external hard drive, military grade, encrypted. Everything is on here. Communications, financial records, video, audio. Webb was careful but not careful enough. I recorded things, saved things, because I knew someday he might decide I was more liability than asset. This was my insurance. He plugs the drive into a laptop Ryker produces from a footlocker. The screen comes alive. Files, hundreds, organized by date and operation. Brennan opens one at random, a video file. The image is grainy, night vision footage. It shows a meeting, 2 men, one in military uniform, the other civilian. They exchange a briefcase. The uniformed man opens it, stacks of currency inside, American hundreds. He counts it, nods, leaves. The timestamp reads November 2, 2004. The uniformed man's face is clear enough. Marcus Webb, younger, just a major, but unmistakable. Brennan opens another file, an audio recording, 2 voices, one is Webb, the other Victor. Webb's voice, Route Bravo, 0900 tomorrow, full platoon, 4 vehicles. I need it to look like tactical failure, no survivors. Victor's voice, understood, what's the split? Webb 60-40. You get 40%, payment on confirmation. The recording ends. Santos has gone pale. Vale too. This isn't circumstantial, isn't hearsay. This is Webb's voice, planning murder for profit, selling Marines like livestock. Tyler has stopped struggling. He's listening, watching. His face has gone empty, the kind of empty that comes before violence. Ryker closes the laptop, looks at Victor. How much did you make, total, from selling out my Marines? Victor doesn't hesitate. $4.3 million over 7 months. Webb made triple that. I kept records, can prove every payment. And you lived with that for 20 years. No, I survived with that. There's a difference. Every night I see their faces, every nightmare. I can name 17 of them from memory. The ones I saw die through my scope. That's my payment, that's what I live with. The room falls silent. The only sound is the hiss of the oil lamp, the creak of old wood settling. Brennan's phone vibrates, a response to his earlier message. He reads it once, twice, then looks up. There's a facility, private detention center, registered as a juvenile rehabilitation program, White Pine County, Nevada, licensed for 30 residents, current occupancy listed as 12, but the licensing is irregular, several violations, several complaints, all buried by someone with influence. Victor's breath catches. That's it, that's where she is. Maybe we need more than location. We need proof she's there, proof she's your daughter, proof she's being held against her will. How do we get that? Ryker answers. We go look, tonight, before Webb realizes we're cooperating instead of killing each other. Brennan shakes his head. That's insane. It's a 6-hour drive. We have no intelligence on security, no layout, no support. Which is why we'll succeed. Webb thinks Victor is here to kill me, thinks I'm here to kill Victor. He's not watching for us to work together. That's our window. We take it now or it closes. Santos speaks, and if it's a trap, if Webb is waiting, then we fight, or we die, but we don't run, because running is what he wants. Wants us scattered, afraid, picking us off one by one. We stay together, we move fast. We hit him before he knows we're coming. Tyler stands, favoring his shoulder. I'm in. Tyler, no, you're injured. My cousin died investigating this. My uncle spent 20 years hiding. I'm not sitting out. If there's a chance to hurt the man who killed Marcus, I'm taking it. Brennan looks at each of them. Santos, Vale, Tyler, Ryker, Victor, 6 people. 3 days ago strangers or enemies, now bound by secrets and impossible missions. This is how people die, going into situations without backup, without authority, without anything except conviction that someone has to act. But this is also how things change, when people stop waiting for permission and start taking responsibility. We gear up, take 2 vehicles, hit the facility at 0300, in and out before sunrise, find the girl, document everything. Then we decide next steps. They move, efficiently, years of training kicking in despite the insanity of the plan. Weapons, ammunition, body armor, comms, the tools of people who understand that sometimes civilization's rules don't apply. Victor watches them prepare, then speaks quietly to Ryker. Grant, thank you for giving me this chance. Ryker doesn't look at him, keeps checking his rifle. Don't thank me yet. If your daughter isn't there, if this is Webb's play, I'll kill you myself, and I'll make sure you see it coming. Victor nods. I wouldn't expect anything less. They leave the cabin at midnight. 2 vehicles. Brennan's truck, Ryker's ancient Bronco. 6 people driving into the Nevada desert to assault a facility they know nothing about, to rescue a girl who might not exist, based on the word of a man who has killed dozens. The kind of mission that makes sense only to people who have run out of good options and decided bad options are better than no options. As they drive, Brennan watches the desert pass. Endless, dark, unforgiving, he thinks about careers, about rules, about the life he built by following procedures and trusting systems. That life ended yesterday at Cactus Flats. What comes next isn't clear yet, but it involves truth and justice and the kind of violence that makes good men question whether they're still good. His phone vibrates again. Another message, this one from an unknown number. Captain Brennan, I know what you're planning, know where you're going, and I'm telling you this as courtesy. Turn around. Forget what you saw. Forget Ryker. Forget Victor. Walk away. Or what happened to Marcus Ryker will seem merciful compared to what I'll do to you and everyone you care about. General Marcus Webb. Brennan reads it, deletes it, keeps driving. Because threats only work on people who have something left to lose. And somewhere between yesterday and tonight, Brennan stopped caring about his career, his reputation, his future. All that matters now is making sure 96 families get truth, and one girl gets freedom, and one general gets justice. Everything else is just noise. The facility appears at 2:47 hours, not suddenly, gradually. The way things emerge from darkness when you're looking for them. First, the perimeter fence, 8 feet, chain link, topped with razor wire that catches moonlight and holds it like memory. Then the buildings, low, concrete, institutional in the way that suggests someone designed them to be forgotten. White Pine Juvenile Rehabilitation Center. The sign is small, tasteful, the kind that doesn't want attention. Brennan studies it through binoculars from a ridge 800 yards out. The complex spreads below like a wound in the desert. 4 structures. Central admin building, 2 dormitories, 1 standalone unit with no windows. That's the one that bothers him. Buildings without windows are for keeping secrets. Beside him, Grant Ryker is motionless. Absolute stillness that comes from decades of learning how to become part of the landscape. His breathing is controlled, measured, the kind of breath that doesn't fog in cold air, doesn't give away position, doesn't acknowledge fear. Guard rotation every 40 minutes, Ryker says quietly. His voice barely carries the 3 feet to Brennan's ear. 3 visible, probably 2 more inside. Armed but not military, private security. The kind that gets paid enough to look away from questions but not enough to die answering them. Cameras. 6 external, standard positions, corners, gates, but the coverage has gaps. Whoever designed the security knew what they were doing but didn't have unlimited budget. There's a blind spot on the northwest corner, 50-yard approach with no coverage if you stay low. Brennan lowers the binoculars. Behind them, Santos and Vale are prepping equipment, night vision, suppressed weapons, bolt cutters, the tools of people who are about to commit multiple felonies in the service of something they hope is justice. Tyler Nash sits apart. His wounded shoulder is taped, medicated. He insisted on coming despite Brennan's protests. The kid has earned his place here, earned it in blood yesterday, earned it in the genetics that connect him to the man lying beside Brennan. Viktor Volkov is 20 yards away, alone. He hasn't spoken in 3 hours, just sits, stares at the facility, at the place where his daughter might be, or might not, where truth lives, or lies wait. Brennan makes a decision. We go in quiet, locate the girl, confirm identity, extract. No engagement unless absolutely necessary. This isn't a raid, it's a rescue. We're not here to fight, we're here to find truth. Ryker nods. Victor and I take point. We've done this kind of work before. Santos, you're our overwatch. Find high ground with clear sightlines. If this goes wrong, you're our exit strategy. Vale, you're with Brennan, support and medical. Tyler stays here with Santos. Tyler starts to protest. Ryker cuts him off with a look, not harsh but absolute. Tyler, you're injured. You're untested in this kind of operation. And you're my nephew. Which means if something happens to you, I'll spend whatever time I have left blaming myself. So you stay, you watch, you learn. And if we don't come back, you take the evidence we gathered and you make sure 96 families get the truth. That's your mission. Clear. Tyler wants to argue. Brennan can see it, the pride, the need to prove himself. But he's also smart enough to recognize authority when it's earned. He nods. Clear. They move at 300 hours, 3 figures descending the ridge in darkness. Brennan, Ryker, Victor. moving in tactical formation that needs no discussion, no communication, just years of training expressing itself through muscle memory. The approach takes 12 minutes, low crawl through scrub brush. Ryker was right about the blind spot. They reach the fence without triggering lights, without raising alarms. Brennan produces bolt cutters. The chain link parts with whisper quiet snaps. One link, two, three, enough for a man to slide through. They're inside. The compound is quiet, not the peaceful quiet of sleep, the enforced quiet of control. Brennan can feel it, the weight of surveillance, the presence of watching. They move between buildings using shadows, staying low, staying fast. The windowless building is their target. Up close, it's worse than it looked through binoculars. The door is steel, reinforced, electronic lock. No handle, the kind of door that only opens from one side, the outside. Victor examines it, produces a small device from his jacket, military issue, electronic lockpick, the kind that shouldn't exist but does if you know the right people. He attaches it, waits. The device cycles through combinations, 10 seconds, 20, 30. The lock clicks, green light, the door releases. They enter in sequence. Brennan first, weapon up. Night vision painting everything in green. A corridor, narrow, doors on both sides. 12 of them, each with a small window, reinforced glass. Each window showing a room. And in each room a bed. And in some beds shapes people, sleeping or pretending to. Brennan moves down the corridor, checking each window. Most rooms are empty. 3 contain occupants. All young, all female. Hard to determine age through night vision, but teenage, maybe. The last room on the right, that's where Victor stops. His breathing has changed, faster, shallower. Brennan looks through the window. A girl, 15 maybe, dark hair, slight build, sleeping curled on her side facing away from the door. She wears institutional clothes, gray, shapeless. The kind designed to erase identity. Victor's hand touches the window, gentle, like he's afraid the glass will shatter. His voice comes out broken. Anya. Brennan tries the door, locked, but a different lock, simpler. He picks it in 30 seconds. The door opens without sound. They enter. Ryker stays in the corridor, watching, covering. The girl doesn't wake, doesn't stir. Victor crosses the small space, kneels beside the bed, reaches out, stops, his hand hovering 6 inches from her shoulder, trembling. Brennan has seen men face enemy fire without flinching, seen them walk through minefields with steady hands, but this moment breaks Victor. He's terrified of waking her, of her not recognizing him, of her recognizing him and recoiling. Victor, Brennan says quietly, we need to confirm, then we need to move. Victor nods, steadies himself, touches her shoulder, light, careful. Anya, wake up, please, it's Papa. The girl's eyes open, confused, disoriented. She sees Victor. For a moment there's nothing, no recognition, just the blank stare of someone woken from deep sleep in a place where being woken means trouble. Then something shifts, her eyes focus, widen, her mouth opens but no sound comes. She's trying to process, trying to reconcile the man kneeling beside her bed with memories 11 years old, with a father she was told abandoned her, died, forgot her. Papa, the word is barely audible, question and hope and disbelief woven together. Yes, it's me, I'm here, I'm getting you out. She sits up fast, too fast, throws her arms around his neck. Victor catches her, holds her. His eyes close, tears track down his face in the green glow of night vision. Brennan looks away. Some moments deserve privacy even in the middle of operations. But they don't have time. Brennan touches Victor's shoulder. We need to move, now. Victor nods, helps Anya to her feet. She's shaking, Shock, fear, relief, all of it hitting at once. She starts to speak. Victor puts a finger to his lips. She understands, goes quiet. They move back into the corridor. Ryker is there, waiting. He sees the girl, sees Victor holding her hand, nods once. Confirmation, this is real. This is what they came for. Then the lights come on. Not emergency lighting, full power. Fluorescent tubes humming to life overhead, bright, blinding after night vision. Brennan yanks his goggles off, blinks, adjusts. And down the corridor, blocking the exit, stands Marcus Webb. He's 62, same age as Ryker, but where Ryker is lean from years of hardship, Webb is comfortable, well-fed. The kind of body that comes from a career spent behind desks making decisions that other people execute. He wears civilian clothes, expensive, dark slacks, dress shirt, no tie, like he got dressed in a hurry but still managed to look composed. Behind him, 4 men, armed, not security guards. These move like soldiers, ex-military. The kind Webb has been collecting for 20 years. The kind who don't ask questions when orders come from a general. Webb's face shows no surprise, no anger, just calm satisfaction, like a man who planned this exact moment and is pleased to see his planning validated. Grant, I knew you'd come. Knew Victor would break eventually. Knew that when he did, you'd be stupid enough to believe him, stupid enough to think you could rescue his daughter and somehow that would give you leverage. But you see, that's the difference between us. You think tactically, room to room, building to building. I think strategically, years ahead, decades. I've been playing this game since Fallujah, and I've never lost. Ryker's weapon is up, aimed, center mass. You lost 96 Marines, Marcus. You lost your soul. You lost any right to wear that uniform. Those Marines were a resource. I spent them wisely. Turned them into $4.7 million that funded operations you'll never know about. Operations that kept this country safe. You think warfare is about honor, about sacrifice. It's about resources, and I'm very good at resource management. Brennan's mind is racing. 4 armed men, 3 of them, plus Victor who is unarmed, plus a terrified 15-year-old girl. The math is bad, the geometry worse. They're in a corridor with no cover, no concealment, a fatal funnel. But then Santos's voice comes through his earpiece, calm, professional. Brennan, I have eyes on 5 additional hostiles approaching from the east, heavily armed. You need to extract now. 9 total, against 3. The math just got impossible. Webb smiles, like he heard the transmission. Maybe he did. Maybe his men are monitoring their frequency. You're surrounded, outgunned, and more importantly outthought, so here's what happens next. You put down your weapons, you hand over all the evidence Victor gave you. All the files Grant's been collecting for 20 years, everything, and in exchange I let you walk away. I even let Victor take his daughter. You go back to your lives, forget this happened, or you refuse. And I kill all of you right here, right now, including the girl, because she's seen too much, knows too much. And frankly, she's more useful to me dead than alive at this point. Anya makes a sound, small, frightened. Victor's hand tightens around hers. You wouldn't, she's 15, she's done nothing. She's leverage that has outlived its usefulness. I only kept her alive this long because I thought I might need her to control you, but you've already betrayed me, already chosen Grant's crusade over your daughter's life. So now she's just a liability. The words are delivered without heat, without malice, just cold calculation, and that's what makes them terrifying. Webb isn't evil in the cartoon sense. He's practical, efficient, the kind of man who can order murder and sleep soundly because he's convinced himself it serves a greater purpose. Ryker hasn't lowered his weapon. Marcus, you're not walking out of here. Even if you kill us, the evidence exists. Multiple copies, multiple locations. In 24 hours, every news outlet in the country will have it. Your career is over. Your freedom is over. The only question is whether you spend your last free hours as a murderer or just a traitor. Webb considers this, then shrugs. You're bluffing. If you had distributed the evidence, I'd already know. My people monitor those channels. No. You're here hoping to rescue the girl, use her as some kind of proof, some emotional appeal to make people believe Victor's story. But you failed. So now you lose everything. He gestures to his men. They raise weapons, 4 rifles, aimed, ready. This is the moment. The one where good people die because they tried to do the right thing without the proper resources. The moment that validates cynicism. That proves idealism gets you killed. But Grant Ryker doesn't lower his weapon, doesn't flinch. His voice comes out steady, final. Marcus, I'm going to give you one chance. One, let them go, let the girl go, let Victor go, let Brennan and his team go. This is between you and me, always has been. You sold my Marines, you killed my son, so let's finish this. You and me, right now, however you want. Webb laughs, actually laughs. You think I'm going to duel you. This isn't a movie, Grant, this is reality. And in reality, the man with the most guns wins. Then Victor moves. Not toward Webb, toward his daughter, shielding her with his body, putting himself between her and the weapons. His voice when he speaks is quiet, but it carries. General Webb, you made a mistake. You told me my daughter was alive to control me, but you see I've been preparing for this moment for 11 years. Every operation you sent me on, every job, I was gathering insurance, evidence. Not just about Fallujah, about everything, every black operation, every illegal detention, every murder you ordered. And I didn't just give it to Grant, I distributed it, uploaded it, set it on dead man's switches. If I don't check in every 12 hours, it goes live. To news outlets, to Congress, to International Criminal Court, everything. Webb's smile falters just slightly. You're lying. Am I? You want to test that? Kill me, kill her, kill all of us. Then wait 12 hours and see what happens. The standoff stretches, seconds that feel like years. Brennan can see Webb calculating, running scenarios, trying to determine if Victor is bluffing, trying to decide if it matters. Then a new voice, from behind Webb, from the corridor entrance. General Webb, I'd advise you to stand down. Everyone turns. A woman stands there, 50-something, gray suit, FBI credentials held high. Behind her, 20 agents, tactical gear, weapons drawn, professional, calm, utterly in control. Special Agent Catherine Morris. Brennan recognizes her from briefings. She runs the FBI's Public Corruption Task Force, the unit that investigates dirty cops and dirty soldiers and dirty politicians. Webb's face drains of color. This is a military matter. You have no jurisdiction. Actually, I have plenty. We've been investigating you for 6 months, General. Ever since an anonymous package arrived containing evidence of systematic betrayal during Operation Phantom Fury. We've been building a case, waiting for the right moment. And tonight, when we intercepted communications suggesting you were planning to murder federal law enforcement officers, we decided the moment had arrived. She looks at Brennan. Captain Brennan, Agent Santos, Corporal Vale, you're not in trouble, but you are going to need to give statements. Lots of them. Brennan finds his voice. How did you know we were here? We didn't. We were tracking Webb. When he mobilized his security team and drove to Nevada in the middle of the night, we followed. Lucky for you. Lucky, the word doesn't feel right. Brennan glances at Ryker. The old Marine's face shows nothing, but his eyes suggest he knows more than he's saying. Later, Brennan will learn the truth. We'll discover that Grant Ryker contacted the FBI 3 weeks ago, provided initial evidence. began the process of bringing down Webb through official channels, but didn't tell anyone because official channels are slow, and Webb was still free, still dangerous, still capable of making people disappear. So Ryker worked both angles, legal and illegal, official and unofficial, making sure that no matter what happened tonight, Webb would fall. That's the difference between tactics and strategy. Tactics win battles, strategy wins wars. Webb's men lower their weapons. They're not stupid. Fighting the FBI is a different calculation than killing witnesses. The math has changed. They surrender. Webb stands frozen, unable to process that his carefully constructed empire is collapsing. "You can't do this. I'm a decorated officer, 3-star general. I have friends, connections." Agent Morris approaches, produces handcuffs. "You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, treason, wire fraud, and about 40 other charges we're still compiling. You have the right to remain silent." She continues the Miranda warning while cuffing him. Webb doesn't resist, doesn't speak, just stares at Grant Ryker with eyes that promise vengeance even in defeat. But Ryker doesn't engage, doesn't gloat, just watches, witnessing, making sure this moment is real, that 20 years of hunting has finally ended. Victor is holding Anya, both of them crying now. The girl is saying something in Russian, fast, desperate, Victor answering, soothing. Brennan doesn't speak Russian, but he understands the tone. Father and daughter reunited after 11 years of captivity. The FBI begins processing the scene, securing evidence, documenting everything. Brennan gives his statement. Santos and Vale give theirs. Tyler is brought down from the ridge, gives his statement, all of them telling the truth, most of it. The parts about breaking into a federal facility to rescue a hostage, that gets glossed over. Agent Morris seems willing to overlook certain tactical details in exchange for the larger strategic victory. By 800 hours, it's over. Webb is in custody, his security team detained, the facility shut down, the other girls who were being held transferred to proper juvenile services. Anya Volkov reunited with her father. Grant Ryker stands apart, watching the sun rise over the Nevada desert. Brennan approaches, stands beside him. They don't speak for a long time, just watch light paint the mountains in shades of copper and gold. Finally, Ryker breaks the silence. "I contacted the FBI 3 weeks ago, after Victor first reached out. I didn't trust him, didn't trust the situation, so I hedged. Gave the FBI enough to start an investigation but not enough to move immediately. Figured if this was a trap, at least Webb would still go down eventually. If it wasn't, we'd have backup we didn't know about." "That's why you agreed to help Victor. You knew the FBI was watching Webb." "Yes, but I also agreed because his daughter is real, and she deserved freedom, deserved a chance. We all deserve chances we don't always get." Brennan considers this. "What happens now for you?" "I don't know. I've been dead for 3 years, been hunting for 20. I don't know how to be anything else, but I have a nephew now, Tyler. He'll need guidance, training, someone to make sure he doesn't end up like his cousin, like Marcus. I think maybe that's enough. Maybe that's what I do with whatever time is left." "And Victor?" They both look toward the ambulance where Victor and Anya sit. EMTs checking the girl. Victor hasn't let go of her hand. Won't let go, maybe ever. Victor has his daughter. That's more than most of us get, more than I got. He'll have to answer for what he did. The FBI will want him, but he has leverage now, evidence, cooperation. He might avoid prison, might not, but either way he got Anya back. That's his win. Tyler approaches, his arm in a sling but his stride confident. He's been through something in the last 72 hours, something that aged him, hardened him, made him into a different version of himself. Uncle Grant, the FBI wants to talk to you about your evidence, about everything. Ryker nods. Tell them I'll cooperate fully. No more hiding, no more running. I'm done being a ghost. Tyler smiles, small but real. Does that mean you're coming home to California to meet Mom? She thinks you're dead, seeing you might give her a heart attack, but I think the good kind. Ryker's face does something Brennan has never seen it do. It softens, just for a moment, all the armor dropping away to reveal the man underneath, the father who lost a son, the brother who abandoned a sister, the uncle who missed watching a nephew grow up. Yeah, I'll come home, but Tyler, I'm not good at this. Family, emotions, normal life. I'm going to mess it up. Say the wrong things, disappoint people. That's okay, your family. We're used to disappointment. They both laugh, quiet, tired, the kind of laughter that comes after crying, after fighting, after surviving something that should have killed you but didn't. Brennan watches them walk toward the FBI vehicles. Uncle and nephew, two Marines separated by 40 years and brought together by blood and secrets and impossible choices. Santos joins him. She's exhausted. They all are. 3 days that felt like 3 years. What do we tell the Border Patrol about where we've been, what we've been doing? The truth, most of it, we were following up on a lead, discovered evidence of systematic corruption, contacted appropriate authorities, assisted in an arrest. We'll get reprimanded for going off book, might get suspended, but we won't get fired, not when the arrest is a 3-star general. You think this is over? Brennan doesn't answer immediately. He's thinking about Webb's face, about the certainty in his voice when he said he'd been playing this game for decades, about the way he didn't seem surprised when everything fell apart, like maybe this wasn't the end, just a chapter. I don't know, he finally says. Webb is arrested, the evidence is secured, justice is being served, but 20 years is a long time. Webb had resources, connections, people who helped him, benefited from him, and those people are still out there. You think they'll come after us? I think they'll try to bury this, make it go away quietly, offer Webb a deal, reduce charges in exchange for his silence, keep the full scope from going public because if it does, the whole system gets questioned. Every operation gets scrutinized, every casualty re-examined. They'll want to contain this. Then we make sure they can't. We give interviews, go public, force it into the light. Maybe, or maybe we trust that Agent Morris and the FBI will do their jobs. We'll pursue this fully. We'll get justice for 96 families. Santos looks at him, searching his face for conviction she's not sure he feels. You really believe that, after everything we've seen? I believe that sometimes the system works. Not always, not enough, but sometimes. And when it does, we should let it. Because if we don't trust it ever, we become what we're fighting against. We become people who think the rules don't apply because we're convinced we're right. That's how Webb started. Convinced himself that betraying his Marines served a greater good. The words hang between them, truth and idealism mixing uneasily. 3 days later, Brennan sits in a diner in Yuma drinking coffee that tastes like it was brewed in 1987 and reading the newspaper. The story is below the fold, small, understated. Major General arrested on corruption charges. The article is careful, vague. It mentions financial impropriety, abuse of authority, nothing about Fallujah, nothing about 96 dead Marines, nothing about Victor or Anya or a 20-year hunt for justice. The containment has begun, the system protecting itself. Brennan's phone rings. Unknown number, he answers. Captain Brennan, this is Catherine Morris, FBI. We spoke in Nevada. Agent Morris, I read the article. Seems like a lot got left out. Yes, that's why I'm calling. The case against Webb is complicated. His attorneys are well connected. The evidence, while substantial, involves classified operations. Revealing everything publicly could compromise ongoing investigations. National security concerns. You understand? Brennan understands perfectly. This is the offer, the deal. Stand down, stay quiet. Let the professionals handle it. In exchange, Webb goes to prison on lesser charges and everyone pretends the full truth doesn't matter. What do you need from me? Your silence, for now. Let the prosecution build their case properly. Give us time to work through the classified material, to get cooperation from Viktor Volkov, to ensure this is done right. In exchange, I promise you that justice will be served. Webb will go to prison. The families will get closure, just not immediately, and not publicly. How long? 6 months, maybe a year. Legal proceedings take time. And if I refuse, if I go public now? There's a pause, Morris choosing her words carefully. Then you compromise the case. Defense attorneys will claim you contaminated the jury pool. Claim publicity makes a fair trial impossible. They'll move for dismissal, and Webb walks. Is that what you want? It's a good play, elegant, using Brennan's own desire for justice against him, making him complicit in the delay he's frustrated by. I'll wait 6 months, but Agent Morris, if in 6 months this is still being buried, if Webb is getting a sweetheart deal, if the families are being denied truth, then I go public. With everything. Consequences be damned. Understood, thank you, Captain. She hangs up. Brennan sets the phone down, finishes his coffee, leaves money on the counter, walks out into Arizona heat that is already punishing at 900. His phone buzzes, a text from Tyler Nash. Uncle Grant wants to meet you. Tonight, says he has something to show you, interested. Brennan types a response, sends it, then climbs into his truck and drives home to shower and sleep and try to return to normal life. But normal is gone. Has been since yesterday morning when he walked into Building 19 and found a timer counting down and a note about a ghost named Grant Ryker. That evening, Brennan drives to an address Tyler provided. A small house in a quiet neighborhood, nothing special, just a place to live. Grant Ryker answers the door. He looks different, cleaner, rested, almost normal except for the eyes. The eyes still scan, still calculate, still see threats in shadows. Brennan, thanks for coming. There's something you need to see. He leads Brennan to a spare bedroom that's been converted into an office. Maps on the walls, photographs, documents, the same evidence wall that was in the hunting cabin, but there's something new. A package, unopened, sitting on the desk. This arrived today, no return address, no postage. Someone hand-delivered it while I was out with Tyler. Brennan examines the package, plain brown paper, his name written in block letters on the front. You open it. No, it's addressed to you, but I X-rayed it. It's not a bomb, just paper, documents. Brennan carefully opens the package. Inside a manila folder, he opens it. Inside are photographs, black and white, high quality, surveillance images. The first photo shows Marcus Webb, but he's not alone. He's standing with 12 other men, all in civilian clothes, all facing the camera like they're posing for a group portrait. The photo is dated November 2004, Fallujah. The second photo is recent, taken within the last month based on the clothing. It shows 9 of the same men. 3 are missing, presumably dead, but 9 remain, all older, all still together. The third photo is a document, a letterhead, an organization Brennan doesn't recognize. Strategic Operations Partnership Council. Beneath that, A mission statement written in the kind of bureaucratic language that means nothing and everything. Facilitating cooperation between private sector security solutions and government strategic interests since 1987. Beneath that, a list of board members. Marcus Webb is number 4, but there are 8 others: generals, former CIA, defense contractors, all powerful, all connected. The last item in the folder is a handwritten note, the same block letters as the package address. Captain Brennan, you stopped one man. Good, but Webb was middle management, a useful tool, easily replaced. The organization continues, the work continues. The next Fallujah is being planned right now. Different city, different country, same profit model. Want to stop it? You can't. You don't have the resources, the authority, the protection, but you tried. That took courage. So this is courtesy, a warning: walk away. Enjoy your life, forget what you know, or become the next Marcus Ryker. Dead at 26, investigating things that were designed to stay buried. Your choice, the apparatus. Brennan reads it twice, then looks at Grant Ryker. You knew Webb wasn't alone. Suspected, but I couldn't prove it, couldn't get close enough to the others. Webb was my only access point. I thought if I took him down, the investigation would follow the threads, would unravel the whole network. Will it? No, because whoever sent this has resources Webb never had, access I've never seen. They knew where I'm staying, knew you'd be coming here, knew exactly how to demonstrate that we're not fighting one corrupt general. We're fighting a system that has been operating for 40 years, that has survived every administration, every scandal, every investigation. Brennan sets the folder down. His hands are steady, but his mind is racing. Everything they just accomplished, everything they sacrificed. It was just removing one piece from a board filled with pieces. So what do we do? Ryker is quiet for a long time. Then, we do what Marines do. We take the next objective, then the next. We don't try to win the war in one battle. We just keep fighting, keep exposing, keep pushing. Maybe we never win completely. Maybe the system is too big, too entrenched, but we make it harder for them. We make the cost of corruption higher. We save who we can, and we sleep knowing we tried. That's not much of a victory. It's the only kind available. You want guarantees. You want certainty. Become an accountant. But you chose this life. Chose to be the kind of man who runs toward gunfire instead of away from it. That choice has consequences, and one of them is living with the knowledge that the fight never really ends. It just changes shape. Brennan picks up the folder, studies the faces in the photograph. 9 men, 9 targets, 9 people who think they're untouchable. They made a mistake sending this. How so? They gave us their faces, their names, their organization. They think that's a warning, but it's intelligence. It's a target list. It's everything we need to start the next phase. Ryker smiles, thin, hard, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. You're thinking like a Marine now. Good, because this isn't over. Webb goes to trial in 6 months. During that trial, names will come up. Connections will be exposed, and we'll be ready to follow those threads, to pull them, to see what unravels. The FBI won't help. They're already burying the full scope. Then we work around them, through them. Victor has connections, resources he owes us. And more importantly, he has a daughter to protect. He'll help. Tyler is young, but he's smart, motivated. Santos and Vale are solid. We build a team. We build a case. We do it right this time. No shortcuts. No off-book operations. Everything legal. Everything documented. Everything airtight. That could take years. Yes, but we have years. These men have been operating since 1987. 39 years. What's another 2 or 3 to take them down properly? Brennan considers this. Everything in him wants immediate action, immediate justice. but he's old enough now to know that immediate rarely means effective. Sometimes the long game is the only game. All right, I'm in, but Grant, we do this smart. We protect each other. We protect the evidence. And if at any point this puts Tyler or Anya or anyone else at risk, we stop. We don't sacrifice good people to catch bad ones. That's their game, not ours. Agreed. They shake hands. Two men from different generations, different branches, different wars, united by the understanding that some fights are worth fighting even when you can't see the end. Later, driving home through the desert night, Brennan thinks about the choice he just made. To continue, to pursue, to dedicate however much time he has left to exposing corruption that most people don't believe exists. It's not a happy choice, not a comfortable one, but it's his, and that matters. His phone rings. Tyler. Captain, Uncle Grant told me about the package, about the organization. I want to help, however I can. I know I'm just a reserve private. I know I don't have training, but I can learn, can do whatever needs doing. Tyler, you're 21. You have your whole life ahead of you. What we're planning, it could consume years, could get you killed. You sure you want that? There's no hesitation in the kid's response. My cousin Marcus spent his whole adult life chasing this. He died at 26, never got to finish. I'm not going to let that be for nothing. I'm not going to let 96 Marines be forgotten. So yeah, I'm sure. Then welcome to the team. But Tyler, one condition, you finish your deployment first. You serve your contract. You do the job you signed up for. This can wait. The fight will still be here when you get back. Promise. Promise. They hang up. Brennan drives in silence, thinking about promises, about commitments, about the distance between justice and revenge, and whether that distance matters when the people you're hunting have been killing with impunity for 4 decades. 6 months later, Marcus Webb pleads guilty to corruption charges, sentenced to 15 years. No trial, no public exposure of Fallujah, no mention of 96 betrayed Marines. Just a quiet plea deal that makes everyone comfortable except the families who deserve truth. But during the sentencing, something unusual happens. The judge receives a letter, anonymous, detailed, outlining everything, every betrayal, every death, every dollar Webb earned from selling American lives. The judge reads it into the record, makes it public, makes it matter. And suddenly the story that was buried gets oxygen, gets attention. News outlets pick it up. Investigative journalists start digging. Families start asking questions. The containment fails. The FBI is forced to reopen investigations, to look deeper, to follow threads they were told to ignore. And in a small house in California, Grant Ryker sits with his sister, his nephew, his family, watching the news coverage, watching justice move slowly but inevitably toward the other 9 men in that photograph. It's not complete, it's not perfect, but it's something. And sometimes something is enough. Tyler ships out 3 weeks later. Afghanistan, 6-month deployment. Grant watches him board the transport, sees Marcus in the kid's walk, in his determination, in his refusal to be anything less than what his country asks. It terrifies him, fills him with pride, both at once. That's what family does, makes you vulnerable in ways that operational training never prepared you for. But he's done running from vulnerability, done being a ghost. He's 62 years old, maybe has 20 good years left if he's lucky. He plans to spend them making sure his nephew comes home, making sure 9 men face justice, making sure 96 families get truth. It's a small mission, a quiet one, nothing that will make headlines, nothing that will earn medals. But it's his, and after 20 years of hunting shadows, He's learned that the small missions matter most. They're the ones that save lives, the ones that honor the dead, the ones that make the difference between a world where corruption wins and a world where sometimes, just sometimes, the good people get justice. He turns from the airfield, walks back to his truck, drives home. To family, to purpose, to whatever comes next. The fight continues, but he's not fighting alone anymore. And that makes all the difference.